Word from the Lord. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is dear to everyone in Luke chapter 18 and the verses of 12 through 14. The Bible reads and says like this: I fast twice a week, I give tithes out of all I possess. And the publican standing afar off would not lift up to so much his eyes, even unto the heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. I want to talk for just a few moments about how to find God's grace. How to find God's grace. I think this is a good example, a great example of how to find God's grace. This sinner man, there are 3 points that I want to talk about him in finding God's grace. Number one, the first thing, you have to admit your position. Admitting your position simply means that I'm going to ask for mercy, but I'm a sinner. See, one of the things that happens to all of us is that at one time or another, we just didn't want to own up to who we really are and who we were and what we're doing, and when we did bad things and all of that. We didn't want to just come clean with it. He comes clean and says, I am a sinner. I got some spots. I've done some bad things. I've said some bad things. I'm a sinner. So the first thing is, the first point is that I just want to admit that I am a sinner. After he admits now that he's a sinner, he's asked God to be merciful. Be merciful to me as a sinner. Now, asking God's mercy because nobody is worthy of that. Nobody is worthy of God's grace. And we're not worthy of his mercies. We don't measure up. But it does not stop us from asking. So he's asked God, hey, I want your mercy. Be merciful to me because I know my position. I know my position. I know who I am. I know where I come from. So I'm going to admit my position. And then I'm going to ask for your mercy. Then the last thing, and I like this, always trust God. In other words, I'm trusting God, to do what I ask. I'm asking for his mercy. I'm telling him that I'm a sinner. Now I'm going to trust you with that to give me your graces. Now the 14th verse says, now this man went down to his house justified. Now why? Because first I'm going to admit my position. The second thing, after I admit my position, I'm going to ask for mercy. After I ask for mercy, I'm going to come back and I'm going to always trust God to do his bidding. And when I say do his bidding, and I ask for mercy, he's going to grant me his mercy and he's going to grant me his grace because he's full of grace and he's full of mercy. Y'all be blessed.